Sheldon, Wayne was just describing Andre as like a kamikaze fighter out there sometimes. As a coach, do you ever feel like you have to tell him to pull off the throttle, or is that just kind of what makes him him?
Yeah, I think it's what makes him him. I mean, I don't think you want to be toning guys down. I think it's, if anything, it just speaks to, for a guy that's had injury issues and stuff like that, that he's dealt with, but he doesn't allow it to change his game and all of those kind of things. It speaks a lot to the type of player that he is and why he's fit in so well here.
As a coach, how much do you appreciate guys like that, where there's just never any doubting what they're going to bring on a daily basis?
It's so important. I mean, it just, you're looking for consistency in your players, you're looking for consistency in your team. So the more guys you have that, they're not going to have their best game all the time. Sometimes the puck's not going to come off their stick or on their stick the way you'd like it to, but their effort's always going to be there. That's very important. Very low maintenance player, and he's just, whatever we've asked him to do, he's done. I mean, he's basically hadn't penalty killed at all in his career, up until this season. And talked to him about getting him some reps through preseason and early in camp, and wanted to see if that's something that he could do for us to add to his role. And he's taken that on, and we think he's a guy's played on the power play throughout his career, but we gave him some time there, but just opted to give Engvall some run with that, and he hasn't questioned it. He hasn't let it affect anything. He's just, whatever we've asked him to do, he's embraced it, and you can't have enough of those guys.
How much is that injury history of his in the back of your mind, like when you're watching the game he takes a big hit?
I mean, he's had some moments, where you come off and you think about a little bit, but to me, 20 games here now, you came into, you really just wanted to get through preseason and get him back playing in real games. So 20 games here now, and the fact that he's playing as hard as he is, I think it's out of his mind, and he's just playing. So, from my perspective, he's pushed past that, he's such an important ad for us, just because he brings so much. He's so versatile. That we haven't. I think he's only played one game here in our top 6, but I think he has some ability up there as well. Over the course of the season, we've just been so happy with how he's paired with Kempf and what that's done for us on that third line. That we've stuck with it, but I think he's got a lot to offer our group.
In what ways does Simmons look different to you this season? He's talking about spending a lot of time with the development staff during the summer, skating more. Have you seen that pay off? What are you seeing from him?
I have. Like, when you look at the type of scoring chances that he's generated and how he's done it, I think he's protecting the puck really well. Just his hands in general, to be able to get out of tight spaces and get to the middle of the ice. I see some real transfer from what he's worked on in the summer, and what we continue to get him to rep out. And he's in a lot of the early sessions that we have before practices. We're getting him involved in those consistently. I know when I talked to him about last season that a lot of that stuff was new to him, and it took taking him a while to get comfortable with it. But through the off season, and then now again this season, while his role has reduced, we've added more reps to practices before and after for him. And I've seen a lot of transfer for it, and the results haven't come in terms of the puck going in for him, but we believe that if he can continue to get to those spots and generate those chances, that it's going to fall. And it's just nice to see that, the fact that his role has reduced this season, but his chance generation has actually increased greatly. So that's a real nice development.
How's Mrazek feeling after being back out on the ice yesterday?
My understanding is he's feeling great. He'll be back on the ice here now, and just going to keep progressing.
Do you remember anything at all from that last time you were here in Los Angeles, where it was supposed to be a homecoming for Campbell and Muzzin for the play, obviously, because he was hurt, but now they could finally get that chance. Do you remember anything about that?
I don't remember that specifically. I remember the game. I remember, if I'm not mistaken, a 0-0 affair. Lost in a shootout. But in terms of their returns, I don't remember a lot about that. It really feels like forever ago, so it hasn't really entered into my mind.
Sorry, you've talked about sometimes William needs a push. Are you sensing that he's in one of those moments now? What are you seeing from him?
Yeah, a little bit. Not so much a push, but just, you know, you need to talk to him and reinforce the things that he's doing well and what he does best. Actually chatted with him not long before coming in here to talk to you guys, and, you know, just reminding him of the things that he needs to do, see what he needs from me to help him get back to that. But you know, he is a player that has had these swings, you know, in the past, right, where he's really strong, and then times when it dips. Frankly, most players go through that, but you know, it's just a matter of him getting back to moving his feet, staying engaged, and you know, things will happen.
Obviously, your focus is the Leafs, but how much are you paying attention to what Josh Hosang is doing down with the Marlies, and talking to Greg more about him at all?
Yeah, Greg and we've chatted a few times, you know, about what's happening down there with all the different players, and try to watch as many of the games as we can. We had the game on the other night while the Marlies were playing. And usually when our home games, so we're playing at 7, they're playing at 4, so we usually have it on in the office and keeping tabs on it. But whether it's Ryan Hardy or Greg Moore, and Kyle himself really doesn't miss much Marlies action, so we're up to speed on what's going on there. So you know, it seems like Josh and a lot of other guys have played very well, so it's good for us.
I mean, as a coach, Sheldon, were you sort of asking management for a third line that was more dependable defensively, that you could throw it there in situations against top competition, or was that were you just happy to get it, or were you kind of pushing for it?
I think, you know, going back 2 off seasons ago, I think that's something that we talked a lot about, Kyle and I, about the need to add someone that could complement Austin and John and take on some of those responsibilities. Having a penalty killer that was a true centerman that could take face-offs. Those are the kind of things that I felt we needed. I think David Camp's a player I know that the organization has liked a lot, and the traits that we were looking for that he had those, and trying to find other players in the league that matched that. But Camp became available. I know it was a real priority for Kyle, because he's been a big fan of his for a really long time. So it just ended up being a really good fit for us.
Outside of Campbell, is there any differences in the lineup tonight versus what you saw on Sunday in Long Island? I guess, is it the same as practice yesterday?
Same as practice yesterday, yeah.
Another time.
Yeah.